The Bridge of Hope. In the city of Lagos. Part 1. Moussa, 20 years old, was preparing to leave his home. The eldest of 5 siblings, he bore the weight of his family's hopes on his shoulders. For months, the village had spoken of his departure. Uncles had contributed money, neighbors had offered small gifts, elders had prayed over him. Everyone placed a piece of their dream into his hands, as if building a bridge for him to cross into a different world. His mother, Awa, held him tightly that evening. Her tired eyes showed the mark of many sleepless nights, yet they were filled with tears she could hardly contain. She looked at him with pride, but also unbearable pain. "Go, my son, go and find what I could not, but never forget who you are." Those words etched themselves into Moussa's heart like an invisible tattoo. He wanted to tell her he was afraid, that he didn't feel strong enough, that he wished he could stay in the village, running after goats, laughing with his brothers, and sleeping beneath the endless African sky. But he stayed silent. How could he reveal his fear when everyone's dreams depended on him? That night, the entire village seemed restless. Neighbors came one by one to offer him blessings, advice, and sometimes a few coins secretly slipped into his pocket. Each goodbye felt like someone was tearing out another root from his body, uprooting him from the soil of his childhood. The morning of departure arrived too quickly. The dirt road leading out of the village filled with people walking alongside him. His younger brothers and sisters ran behind, shouting his name as if they feared he might vanish forever. His little sister Miriam, barely 8 years old, cried uncontrollably. "Big brother, aren't you coming back?" Moussa hugged her tightly. He had no answer. He only knew his journey would be long, uncertain, and dangerous. At the bus station, he climbed into the old, overcrowded vehicle heading to the capital. The engine roared, dust rose in clouds, and through the window he saw the silhouettes of his family waving. His mother stood in the center, her hand pressed to her heart, her gaze lifted to the heavens. A single tear slid down his cheek as the bus pulled away. The capital was overwhelming, noise, cars honking, tall buildings that seemed to pierce the clouds. Moussa felt small, insignificant. His cousins hosted him for a few days while he prepared his documents, his ticket, his meager luggage. Every evening, he called his mother to assure her he was fine, though inside, fear grew larger each day. The day of the flight came. The airport was a different world. Air conditioning, announcements in languages he couldn't understand, travelers in elegant clothes moving with confidence. Moussa trembled as he clutched his passport, which felt heavy in his hands, like a burden. When he finally boarded, his heart pounded so hard he thought the entire plane could hear it. Through the window, the lights of his homeland grew smaller and smaller until they vanished into darkness. He wanted to cry out, to run back down, but it was too late. Destiny had begun. The shock upon arrival in the foreign country was brutal. The cold stabbed through his bones. Snow drifted from the sky, a sight he had never imagined. People hurried past him, faces closed, eyes averted. The tall, gray buildings felt lifeless, suffocating. Moussa felt invisible, a grain of sand lost in a desert of concrete. A friend took him in, but the room was tiny and cold, shared with another young African student. At night, Moussa lay awake, staring at the cracked ceiling, haunted by silence broken only by distant traffic. The first days were a chain of hardships, struggling with the language, losing his way on the metro, searching for work, eating food without taste or warmth. Whenever his mother called, he lied. "I'm fine, Mama, I'm strong." But after each call, he wept silently, muffling his sobs into the pillow. He remembered the village evenings, the family gathered around one pot, laughter echoing, stories told by elders around the fire. Here, he ate cold sandwiches alone, in a room that felt like a cage. And yet, a fragile flame flickered inside him. Every time he pictured his mother's eyes, every time he thought of Miriam waiting for him to succeed, he whispered to himself, "I cannot fail, not now, not after all they sacrificed." That fragile promise was the only thing keeping him alive. Joy Story Time. Like for part 2.